Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Play Easy Warm-Up podcast. I'm your host, Kerri Shields, and today I'm really excited for you guys to hear the conversation I had with Carissa from Rise Productions around building an event organization. But first, I want to start by sharing just some key takeaways from our first episode with my interview with Melissa Thompson from Indiana Sports Corp on innovating in sports tourism. I hope everyone was able to see not only what an unbelievable person Melissa is, but just what a boss she is. I can't tell you how many people reached out to just say how impressive she was and how much they learned from her. And it was clear how she's gotten to where she is today. But I think our conversation also made it clear why Indiana Sports Corp continues to lead the way in innovation in the industry. She shared one of the main parts of Indy's success in sports tourism really comes down to building strong relationships with community leaders, local governments, event owners, and league officials. These partnerships are key to making it all work and come together. Sports have a huge impact on the local economy, from kids to pros. We heard just some of the different kinds of sports that Indy as a city hosts, and the opportunities that they're open to expanding those events that they already have. And it's so important to plan ahead and invest in the resources that will help grow sports tourism. She shared the importance of getting creative when engaging the local community and businesses. She gave a few examples, including the program around the 2024 Olympic swimming trials this past summer that enabled 50,000 Hoosiers to learn how to swim. I thought that was unbelievable. I had no idea about that, but it just encourages more so the local community buy-in to bidding on these large-scale events. So I thought that was awesome. Think about using promotions and competitions to get local youth involved and encourage volunteerism at every level. It's a great way to bring people together and have that community buy-in. Make sure you're making the most of year-round access to venues and resources so you can maximize the economic benefits. And don't forget, women's sports are a massive opportunity for growth. As Melissa said, her team likes to say, it's not just a moment, it's a movement. Now, let's dive into some top news in the industry. Each week, I want to recap some recent exciting news and highlights happening in sports tourism. Our team is going to pull these stories from posts on our newsfeed on the Play Easy platform. So I would encourage everyone to share some of the wins, big things happening in your community, and or just noteworthy news to be featured. So let's dive into it. The NCAA recently announced their host cities for the 2026-2028 bid cycle. This is the first time the NCAA was on a 2-year bid cycle format. Congrats to all of the cities that won events, including over 20 of our Play Easy destination partners across 70-plus events. With over 1,200 bids submitted, this is a huge accomplishment for all of these future host cities. And just on a personal note, I've had the opportunity to really have an inside look into what goes into the bid cycle the past year plus. So I just wanted to congratulate everyone who went through this process. I know this is the first time it was on that 2-year bid cycle, so things were a bit different than they had been in the past. So just an acknowledgement to how much work goes into those bids. I'm excited to see those events happen 2026 to 2028 and kind of what happens moving forward with these bid cycles. Big news for Sports Oregon. The PGA of America is headed to the Oregon coast at Bandon Dunes Golf Resort. The iconic resort will host the 2026 PGA Professional Championship, a 4-day, 72-hole event that will be contested on Bandon Dunes and Pacific Dunes, April 26th to April 29th, 2026. Congratulations to Sport Oregon. The Tri-Cities community banded together and had over 1,300 volunteers sign up for the inaugural Ironman 70.3 Washington. This is a true testament to the spirit in the Tri-Cities community and the collaboration between destination and organization partners. Our partners at Tri-Cities gave me an inside look into what goes into building up that volunteer number, and I know how much work goes into it and how much just building that partnership means for that community. So wanted to congratulate Tri-Cities on that great accomplishment. Visit Kansas City, Kansas won the bid for Triple Crown Sports 2025 Midwest Summer Nationals. The competition will take place across 3 venues in the city and will attract teams from across the Midwest and the entire U.S. This collaboration between Triple Crown Fast Pitch, Kansas City's own Top Gun events, and Visit Kansas City, Kansas brings a new era of opportunities for athletes and teams in the region. We love to see success from 2 partner organizations of ours, so congratulations to you both. And finally, an event highlight on the platform. Explore Seattle Southside is partnering with Starfire Sports to host the Collegiate Showcase this November. The event will provide an opportunity for high school soccer players to gain maximum exposure in front of college coaches for better recruitment potential. Registration is still open. You can check it out on PlayEasy. It is an event that's marketed on our event marketplace. I think it's one of the top events right now in terms of traction and visibility. So definitely check out that event microsite, and good luck to all of those attending. Now, onto today's topic, building an event organization. For our first conversation with an event organizer, I wanted to feature someone who's built their business from the ground up, is new to the industry, and is eager to grow. While I never want this podcast to feel like a sales pitch for PlayEasy, I think it's important to share some background on how our journey and our platform and our team ties into these conversations. For those unfamiliar with our story, our founding team started on the event organizer side of our business. We're all former athletes who met while on collegiate teams at Boston College, me on the basketball team and my co-founders on the football team. In 2018, we set out to solve a problem that we were facing, finding and connecting with sports venues for the events that we were organizing post-retirement. My co-founders love to tell the story of having to zoom in on Google Maps just to find green space for their punting and kicking camps. Personally, I was working full-time and wanted to stay involved with basketball, so was looking to run shooting lessons in the Boston area. And it was an absolute nightmare trying to find and book space. Not even book space, it was a nightmare just trying to find who to contact in order to book that space. And so initially, we built PlayEasy as a platform to help us find and book facilities for our own events. But if you tuned in last week, if not, please go check it out and subscribe. We had a great conversation with Melissa Thompson from Indiana Sports Corp. But we talked about how we discovered an industry that we had been active participants in, but didn't even know existed, sports tourism. We learned all about the industry while living in Indianapolis during the summer of 2019 as part of the Techstars program. We were one of 10 companies selected for this program to learn about our business and how we can evolve and grow. So it was here that we really learned the ins and outs and the intricacies of sports tourism from the experts. So we shifted our business model and went out to build a digital solution to connect all stakeholders involved in this sporting event and tourism industry and build solutions for every aspect of the event lifecycle. Today, PlayEasy provides event organizers like Carissa, who you're going to hear from, with a simple digital solution to connect with key stakeholders and to help grow their business. So for instance, if Chris is looking to run a new cheer event anywhere in the country, she can submit an RFP through PlayEasy. Her Rise Productions has a profile similar to a LinkedIn business profile that she could access and market her organization. From there, she would submit an RFP that she would say what she needs for this event. So whether that be, I just need any sort of convention space anywhere in the country, it has to be able to hold X amount of spectators. I need X amount of parking spaces, anything that you would need for an event. And our technology essentially goes through our database and says, okay, what city, destination, venue would be able to host her cheer event? Once she submits that RFP, our destination and venue partners are automatically notified that a new organization is looking to run an event in their area. From there, they can connect and communicate all through the platform. It was a few months ago when I met Carissa on a fam trip in Branson, Missouri. I was at dinner asking her questions just about her background, how she got where she is today, how she got into the industry, and I related so much to her. She is brand new to the industry, but once again, has been an active participant in it her whole life. She said, I didn't even know a year ago, people were asking for RFPs and I had no idea what it was. And I think that connected with me so much because we were in the same place 6 years ago. I had no idea what an RFP was. I had no idea how to submit one. So I thought it was really cool to connect with someone who I know that our technology and our platform could help an organization like hers so much. And so I know that you guys are really going to love this conversation. She is full of energy, looking to grow her business. Just to give a background, Carissa from Rise Productions. Rise Productions is a cheer and dance organization based out of the Carolinas. I hope you guys enjoy this conversation. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the PlayEasy Warm-Up. I'm so excited to have today's guest with us, Carissa Sawyers. from Rise Production. She is the owner and founder, and I'm just so excited to have you here and start this conversation.
Thank you, Kerri. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, so just to give a little bit of background, Carissa and I met in the start of the summer in Branson, Missouri on a FAM tour, which Carissa just kindly reminded me what a FAM tour stands for, which is a familiarization tour. So we spent a few days in Branson, Missouri with our destination partners in Branson and just had an unbelievable 3 days experiencing all that Branson has to offer.
It was so good.
Well, it was so, I mean, I still talk about just how beautiful some of the landscape were. I'm from the Northeast, so we don't usually get to see some of those views. But I got the chance to know you and loved your story and just what you're building at Rise Production. And so when I thought of who I wanted to have as my first guest, it was you and someone who's really doing everything to build their own business from the ground up. Yeah. So really excited to get to know you a little bit more. And so for those who don't know you, could you give a little bit of background on how you got to where you are today?
Yeah. So I've been in the cheerleading industry as long as I can remember. Started cheering in school cheer, sideline cheer, things like that. And then quickly was like, that's not enough practice. That's not enough mat time. So I joined All-Star Cheerleading, did that for a while, super seniored, and started coaching. And coaching is really where I found my love and my passion. I cannot even explain the feeling of your team walking on the floor and you have no control. It was the craziest thing ever. And then as I got older, still in coaching, I realized that it's really the leadership and the life skill development that I'm most passionate about. And so I've really found a way to kind of connect with athletes in a different way and have a bigger impact through Rise Productions. So Rise Productions is competitive cheerleading, event production, and we're going into dance. And we've got a lot of things in the pipeline, but right now it's mostly competitive cheer. And we started because when I was coaching towards the end of my tenure coaching, I had kind of had enough of some events that I just didn't feel were meeting the standards of what a competition company should be producing. And I've got a lot of event producer friends. I'm not talking about y'all, you're good. But when I think about that last competition, I was like, this is it. The quality, it wasn't where I thought it should be. And it wasn't providing the impact that I know some of these kids needed. And so that's where we started. You know, we launched in 2020. Thankfully, I got cold feet before I signed the first contract. And I got lucky because we all know what happened in 2020. That was terrifying, but I got so lucky. And then after my second baby came around, my husband and I were like, I've been thinking about Rise a lot lately. And he was like, that's weird. I was thinking about it too. And so we just decided to do it. And now here we are. And it's been a whirlwind. I love it. We are an athlete first organization. And I hope that everyone that works with us, no matter what role you're in, destination, CVB, coach, parent, that when you come to one of our events that you really feel like it is the athlete's experience that we're putting first.
I love that. And I forgot to mention that your husband was also on the FAM tour with us and one of your biggest fans. And I know you're being very humble about your cheer background, but you were an NBA cheerleader for a bit of time as well that he let us know. But it was great getting to know both of you. I know leading up to this conversation as someone who has more of an experience in the world of basketball, soccer, cheer is kind of foreign to me, a place of competition. So I thought it'd be good to give, for someone who only knows cheer as on the sidelines, what is the landscape of competitive cheer and the types of events that you run?
Yeah, that's a really great question. A lot of the experience, the general exposure that we have and what you're seeing in common media, movies, and entertainment is often that sideline approach to cheerleading, which is fantastic. That's the core of cheerleading. That's where it all started. And it's just developed a lot over the years, and it's still developing, which is really cool. So cheerleading is the first thing you need to know if you don't know anything about cheerleading is that they're athletes. They work their tails off. You know, we can go in the whole discussion of, is it a sport? Is it not a sport? It doesn't matter because we're talking about kids and we're talking about how hard they work and the goals that they have. And that's the whole point of it, right? Is to make sure that we know where the kid's mindset is. And I think beyond that, there's just different types of cheer, right? So you have sideline, which is on the side of the court or the field. And that's a really fun version of cheer. I coached sideline cheer for a couple of years. I love it. All-Star Cheer, the events that we produce, is typically about 2 minutes and 30 seconds of music, and the team just doesn't stop. So my husband and I get in these little tips when I'm watching pro sports and somebody like falls on the court and they grab their knee and they're like, oh, like if that happened in cheer, literally nothing could happen because every single person on the floor is so, so important. And injuries are very serious, of course, but I'm like, get up, let's go. Because that's what all-star cheerleading requires. Like you can't stop for 2.5 minutes. And that's all-star. But then, like I mentioned, the industry is still evolving and growing. And we're getting into things like stunt, which is like acrobatics and cheerleading combined. And then you've got a new game day category that's taking the sideline aspect of cheerleading and making it more competitive without making it all-star. So there's a lot of different avenues for cheerleading. For my company right now, it's competitive cheer. So we're bright lights, loud music, all the fun.
No, I love it. And for anyone who says cheerleaders are not athletes, have not seen or been to a competition, because I know I can't do half of the athletic news that you see at a competition. So I know you talk about 2020 when you first started and how much of it's evolved since then. Could you talk a little bit about the types of events that you run today, where in the country you are, and kind of the scale of where they are today?
Yeah, so I live in the Carolinas, and I say that because I'm like on the border of North and South. So I live in the Carolinas, and our company, we currently have events in 9 different states. So we are as far north as Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, as far south. This is where it gets tricky, but Atlanta, Georgia, but we're also growing and expanding. We're going to be in Springfield, Missouri, Pittsburgh. Oh, I already said that. Louisville, Kentucky. Where else? Oh, Sioux City, Iowa. All my Iowa friends, I cannot wait to come see you. They have like some of the coolest CVB people like ever. Very excited about that. We are just trying to grow because, like I said, it's an athlete first mission. And when I can connect with people and venues that get behind that mission and they want us to be as successful as possible for the benefit of the kids, we're unstoppable. So it's been really great finding these different relationships in states I've never been to just magic. It's been a lot of fun. And we're global domination is where we're going.
I love it. And I think one of the reasons that we really bonded when we were in Branson was when we started Plazy, we started as event organizers and had no idea that this industry of sports tourism even existed when we were running our own events and just trying to figure out, if we wanted to run an event in a different county, a different state, who do you go to connect with to help make that experience happen? And this is something, you're very new to this industry. You didn't even know that, our destination partners existed. Could you talk a little bit about how you got into it, how you found these partnerships, and kind of where you're looking to expand?
Yeah, so I first heard about one of the major conferences in the industry, which is Teams. And I signed up like a high school senior going to college for the first day and just here for the party. I'm just here for fun. I don't know what we're doing. I don't know why we're here. I'm coming. That is literally how I walked into Teams. Now I walked out not knowing my name. I was so tired and I had learned so much that I was like, how do I get home? Where's my bed? I was so exhausted. And some of those relationships really didn't bring anything forward until like 6 months later. And I put that on myself because as we know, I knew nothing. I didn't know why I was meeting people. I didn't know what a CVB, a DMO. I'm still questionable on that one. But you're learning as you're going. And so it was October of last year, 1 year. I've known about this whole entire industry for 1 year. And what's been really crazy is when I first started, so 2022, right? Before I go to the conference, I'm like cold calling venues. I don't know if you know this, but you get some horrible rates when you cold call a venue. You're like,
I know
$1 million for 5 hours. Like, so, but you don't know what you don't know. You have to be willing to learn. And that's how I approach the conferences that I do go to, because I just need to know more. And it's been life-changing, literally life-changing to know that these conferences exist, to know that sports tourism is an industry. Like, I didn't even know that. I was just here to like cheer on the kids, right? I'm all about the kids. Like, we're going to have competitions. It's going to be great. And then I tried to plan one and I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah. I don't know how to get a venue. Nobody wants to accept us. But it went from me cold calling to now I have my RFP on Play Easy and my phone, I kid you not, ding, ding, ding. Like, I get all the updates. of cities that some are finding us and saying, let's talk, and some are finding us and saying, no, thank you. And both of those are really valuable results because some of the cities that are denying the RFP, which is a request for proposal, if we have any new rights holders listening, you need to write a request for proposal. Go do it right now. But even when they're rejecting your RFP, they're putting why. And it's helpful. It's so helpful because it helps me know I don't need to continue that conversation. That's fine. Or there's this other branch of Rise that's coming that could meet that criteria and that we could talk. And so it's been just a whirlwind in 1 year going from cold calling venues to having an app that's just keeping me updated around the country. It's really cool.
That's awesome. And I did not even pay you to say that, but
No.
I mean, just from my perspective, when we were running our own events, when we were calling these venues, we had no idea that there were groups and organizations out there that's sole job and purpose is to bring in events into their city to create an economic impact and within that city. Not only that, they want to make sure your event's successful. So really helping being an extended member of your team and making sure that that event experience is as great as possible. And so I love to hear just how much it's grown and how much those partnerships have helped. Could you give just some examples of what you look for in a destination partner?
Yeah, this is a good one. So obviously we want the best financial agreement we can come across, right? I mean, I love children. I am in this for their benefit. I want them to have the best competition experience ever, but I do plan to make money, right? That is a portion of doing business. I do not run a non-for-profit yet. That's a different one. We'll get there. But this Rise Productions is here to run a healthy, sustainable company. And I can only do that when I have healthy, sustainable contracts and agreements. And I have found the best partnerships are when you can comfortably talk about different factors. And one of those is obviously finances. I've had really good conversations with people where I can say, like, this is cost prohibitive. Let's talk about it and actually have a valuable conversation rather than, I'm so sorry, you can't afford that. And I've had that happen and it's very uncomfortable. It's like, I'm sorry that I'm not coming there either now because it's kind of like hitting a brick wall. It's very hard. So obviously looking for cities and just people that are easy to talk to and do their job well and can talk about the financial part. The other thing that I really look for is someone that can be a good advocate for us. So I'll give a perfect example. Shout out to my guy, Tim in Atlanta. He is one of the coolest people I've ever met. And we were having a challenging time getting into a venue for the second year. We met at a conference. We met in Portland and he sits down and I'm like, oh my gosh, I've been needing to talk to you. And he, bless his heart, he put up with my energy so well. But I was like, I'm supposed to be coming to Atlanta and I haven't gotten the email back or the whatever from the venue. And when I tell you that Tim has gone to bat for me every time I've needed him to, it's like having another member of my team that I know is there for me. It's his city. He's helping bring business in. He understands the needs of the venue. So he's helping us work together. That is invaluable. So just having an advocate, somebody that, every time you call, if they don't answer right away, I'm here for you, just give me 10, or a quick response that's, let me look into that. And then following up, that's, again, invaluable. And then I think there's other special stuff like that X factor, right? And you never know right off the bat, most of the time, what it is that you're really looking for, but creativity and connections. So this clicked for me in Fort Wayne when I was with my girl, Jasmine. She's so much fun. If you're not in Fort Wayne, go to Fort Wayne. They're awesome, right? Jasmine's the coolest. Yeah, great friends up there. But we were talking about different ways to engage small businesses. And we just found creative options. How do we engage? What are new marketing things that are going to connect my company with your audience, right? We want people to come to your city. How do we get them there? What's some cool and creative stuff we can do to bring them in? And then on top of that, I have to give another shout out to my guy, Stan in Springfield, Missouri. Sorry, I love the sports tourism industry is amazing. I've met some really amazing people. So Stan, I call Stan, he's the one that I'm committed to, right? I've got this event The registration is not looking like I want. I call Stan. I'm like, dude, I'm nervous. And he says, what are the chances you're going to cancel this event? And I was like, I am so stubborn. You're not even ready for this. We're not canceling this event. We're going to grow it. And he's like, I love it. Great. Now that I know that, we can hit the ground running. And I think he's asked me that maybe 2 times since then to like ask if I'm canceling it. And I'm like, Stan, no, like we're coming. We are dedicated to Springfield, Missouri. Okay. So through that, he is letting me use one of their interns as a member of my marketing team and getting on the phone with this person, teaching them a little bit about Rise, brainstorming and developing content with their person. And it's invaluable. So that kind of, if you don't mind, kind of leads me into another little area.
Yeah, go for it.
Every venue and every CVB, DMO, whatever letters you have, you need to look at your rights holders for who they are, right? As an individual, what does that individual company need? The fact that I have somebody that offered a human person to support me and pretend like they're kind of like an extension of my business. I couldn't ask for that, but I felt like Stan saw what I needed. And Tim as well in Atlanta, like I think I like it scared him away the first. I was so like, oh my gosh, Atlanta, we got to talk. I was so over and above and energetic and like panicking, but he saw through that to realize like I can be an asset here. I can help. And so I think sometimes for those roles, it's just take a pause and try to see through any of the noise to what that company really needs to be successful in your space.
That's all great. You're on a roll. I wasn't stopping you.
All right.
I think it's so interesting to hear from the other side as well. Sometimes destinations are not always in a financial position to offer what, the next city over can. But
right.
Speaking of just how could you be creative and using your own resources that you have within your organization to really be an extension of your team to make sure, because it's not just one event, you're looking for those multi-year long-term partnerships to make your events successful. We had Melissa Thompson from Indiana Sports Corp on last episode, and she talked a bit about how when she's looking for a bid that she wants to bring a new event into the city of Indianapolis, a lot of it's around the community impact and how you're engaging the community while the event is there. They've done it in a few, unbelievable ways in terms of getting, the local youth community to have competitions around reading, making sure that, there's some sort of tie-in with giving swimming lessons to kids when there's a major swimming event in the city. And that's something that I know from getting to know you are also very passionate about. Could you talk a little bit about that side of
super passionate about
things
that
when it comes to, your passions outside of just making the best event possible?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things I do in every city is I always tell any of the reps there, I don't care where they are employed, but we're going to talk about small businesses in your area and how can we support them. So one of the things I like to do is connect with local restaurants because everybody has to eat. And we have a captive audience. Our attendees are in our space with nothing else to do but watch cheerleading for about 4 hours a day. That's kind of the average, stay for an athlete at one of our events. During that 4 hours, if they're not buying the concession food, they're going to leave and eat. And yes, we understand the importance of an F&B and we do want them to get concession food too, but we also want our economic impact to extend beyond the convention center. So it's about finding those locally owned businesses, minority owned businesses. Where can we encourage our customer base to go while they're in your town? That's something that we've been really big on. And it could be going to museums or parks or restaurants or anything. It's different in every city. And that's something that Rise Productions, I think we do really well, is we try to get creative with each city and what they have, right? It's not every city is going to have the go-kart park. That's okay. Not every city is going to have a museum, right? You just have to get to know the city and how you can bring your business into the city, right? And then we've got another thing that we've been working on and that's really cool, is something for our special needs community. So if you've ever been to a cheerleading competition, they're very loud. Ours happen to have a lot of lights. It's very bright. And it can be a challenging environment for anybody, but it can be especially challenging for somebody with special needs. And so we want to do what we can to help them feel included and like they can be in that space for a longer time and maybe experience less negative emotions and effects from being there. So we are bringing to life a 501c3 that hasn't been named yet. And Kerri, I really tried to like zone in on a name before today. I was like, we're going to drop the name on the podcast. Couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. So we don't have a name for this 501c3 organization yet, but we're very excited about it. And it is providing resources, tangible goods that are free of charge when you check in for the event. And it doesn't matter if you're a spectator, a sibling, or a cheerleader. All you do is ask our staff for an adaptabilities bag, basically. And then inside the bag are various items that are going to help them succeed through the day. And we just, it's about making sure that we can get as many people that some of them have to be there, right? They don't get a choice. Some of them want to be there. But no matter what, we want to make sure that you're as comfortable as possible. And by providing some of those tangible assets at no charge, we can really make sure that we're reaching our special needs community.
That's amazing. You're amazing. Just all that you think about. I mean, it's hard enough running a business, but being the type of person that you are and making an inclusive environment for every type of person that wants to be included in the sport, or just a part of a family that, you need to bring along other kids, adults. I love to hear it, and I can't wait to hear the name. We will definitely be promoting that and having a whole other podcast on that. So you've talked a bit about some of the existing partnerships that you have and some of the events you have coming up, but I know you are looking to expand into new cities across the country. What are, one for a city that might want to have a conversation with you or could be interested in hosting one of your events? What are some of the qualifications, the bare minimum qualifications you need in order to host one of your events?
So truly the bare minimum asset that we need in a venue or a space is good people. I don't necessarily have to have anything except for good people to work with. So this actually happened, okay? I met Abby from Fox Cities, Wisconsin, and I just loved her right off the bat. She's fantastic. And she didn't have the space we needed at the time. And I was like, Abby, don't you worry, we're coming because you're great. And I want to come to your venue and this is going to be awesome. And then 6 months passed. We met at another conference. Well, actually, it was one of her colleagues. And I was like, you work with Abby. I still can't come, but I'm working on it. And then just like a month ago, not even, I don't know, the last conference we were at, I saw Abby and I sat down at her table and I was like, I'm coming. We can come. We finally made a way, right? Like, I can go to your venue now. So that's kind of off topic from the question, but on the ideas, man, all I need is like cool, chill people to work with that, like, if you have the passion and you can, I don't match energy. I am energy. So if you can like handle working with me, I understand it's very hard to work with me. I get that, but it's all for the goal. It's all for the purpose. So once I find great people to work with, like we can do whatever, we can do anything. But if we want to get technical, Rise Productions looks for convention center space with 2 separate areas. We have a warm-up space that's about 20,000 square feet. We can go a little smaller than that, but 20,000 is comfortable. And then the competition space, which houses the judges, the spectators, and all the things, it's looking for typically about 40,000 square feet. There are other event producers out there that will do like the big black curtain with warm-ups behind the stage. Rise Productions does not and will not do that. Unless it's a very extenuating circumstance, which might be coming up, but we'll see. So what we're doing is we're actually getting ready to launch another brand. It's called Level Up Championships. Very excited about this. And it is a completely different take on the same core subject. It's a cheerleading competition, but it's going to be a little less glitz and glam and a little bit more affordable, a different price point, and also can fit in different spaces. So if you've got more like the arena that also has like the 4-H club come in and they do their, that, what I'm talking about? Like, I don't know, they bring the animals in and
yes, yes.
I don't know. I hear about it all the time. Like, but I don't know. Anyways, I'm going to get way off track on that one. But anyways, Level Up Championships can fit in a much smaller space because we do allow the warm-ups to be backstage. We're looking at different ways to dampen the noise still because it's still going to be loud, but the lighting requirements are different, camera requirements are different. And we're also launching summer camps. So it's, like a field house, we would not typically cheer. Rise Productions and Level Up Championships wouldn't typically have a competition in a field house, but we could have a heck of a summer camp. We don't do summer camps right now. So I was like meeting people at conferences and I got so excited. I met one guy who used to be an athletic director and I was like, yes, teach me everything I need to know about school sports because I'm trying to have summer camp. And I'm probably going to end up in his city because he's been so helpful, like something I don't even know. Like I didn't know that side of it. Like how do you every state has their own time frame for school sports. But I met this guy and he seemed really cool. He told me he used to be an athletic director and now we're going to create something awesome.
That's great. And I think if we've learned anything today, it's all about the relationships and
it is
you connecting. And I mean, there's no stopping you at this point, but when you are going into these communities, these new cities, how are you getting your registrants for these events? Is there anything that you're doing creatively on your end to drive more eyes, more people, more registrants?
That's actually been a really hot topic lately with my team and some of the reps from cities that we've been talking to. It's been a lot of grassroots, a lot of just direct dial, leaving messages. We've got a couple of like newsletter blast type things that we do. We've got social media stuff that's going out in like groups on Facebook. Just totally blanked for a minute. Like the big Facebook groups, like all the cheer coaches are in this one group. And so we'll post our schedule in there. But it's been a lot of word of mouth. And for us, we're only going into our third year. And so we've had 2 really successful years. And in this third year, we're growing. Our reputation is starting to precede us, which is great. You always want that. But I'm typically telling some of these cities, I'm like, it is very scary to come into a brand new market. We're going to Sioux City, Iowa. Do you know what's in Sioux City, Iowa? Not a lot. With some really awesome people, right? And everyone we've met and the registration's doing great is because we've just got good energy around that event.
I love it. And once again, just the relationships and the event experience around those events. So as a participant at one of your events, what could I expect going into one of your event experiences?
So a spectator coming in is, or I guess it could be an athlete, a coach, anybody. I hope that the overwhelming feeling is that you're at a family event. So my company is run by mostly like me and my family play a heavy role, but then also like my friends I've adopted as family along the way. And we hope that that vibe and that energy just goes through everybody. Everyone that you meet that is working at Rise Productions should leave you feeling really great about yourself, your child, your routine, about where you're at. We're a very solution-oriented group of people. Like I said, can be very hard to work for, but that's because we have goals and we have standards and we have expectations. And thankfully, my core group know that. And so no matter who you are, when you're coming to one of our events, you should feel just this comfortable, loving environment. Our announcer, Tamika, she's special. She can make you feel like you're the only person in the world. And we love that about her. We have DJs. We have 2 DJs that travel with us. So they always keep the environment going. Like you're not going to hear the same song 10 times over and over. It's not a bunch of jock jams. It's like actually good music. One of the main reasons I have DJs now at every event, and it's the same 2 people, is for content, because it is so easy to find a song on the radio that gets like racy really quick. And I don't even know what most of the stuff on the radio means anymore because like I don't know. Guess I'm getting old, but they monitor all of it. So it's a very family-friendly event. Yeah.
Awesome. And as if this podcast hasn't been enough to really sell why a new city should bring in your events, why should a new city bring Rise Productions to their city?
Because we're the best. I don't know. I think that, again, we're good to work with. And that, yes, I have high standards, high expectations, but we've actually left venues and after breakdown, the event manager has said to someone on the team, or me, you've been one of the best cheer organizations to work with. And I don't know why that is. Like, I asked, like, well, what do you mean? Like, what? Because I know a ton of people in the cheer industry. I think they're all great. I don't understand. They're like, you've been so great to work with. We've loved having you. We hope you come back. And I attribute that to my team. Again, when you've got a core team of people that work with you at every event and they know the mission, they know the goal, they know the standards and expectations, and they're kind of like family anyways, it just sends that same message over and over to be respectful and well-spoken and to be kind to everyone that you come across, even though we're working really long days and we're pretty tired by the end of them. We're just definitely making sure we're meeting the needs of others.
I love it. And I can attest just to your work ethic and getting you on this podcast. I mean, the preparation, the ideas, and just being able to work collaboratively with you on, what we could talk about. You're the best of the best. And it's been such a pleasure.
Thank you.
I just want to end. What is the biggest lesson you've learned, whether that be in sports or starting your company?
Never, ever be the smartest person in the room or even think you're the smartest person in the room. Always be humble, be willing to go low, do the hard things, do the small things, and learn. Never stop learning. I mean, I get like, you sit at these tables at these conferences and it can start to feel redundant, or I know I'm never going to get to that city, or that city doesn't have what I need. Like, stop and take fresh eyes, fresh approach, sit with that person. And if you feel like you see them every year and you don't have anything else to talk about, find something new to learn from them, right? I mean, anything. It can be just learn about them as a person, or maybe they've got that wisdom, that nugget of wisdom that you needed to solve a problem. You never know. You can learn from anybody.
I'm going to plaster that on my wall. I love it. Such a good message. And just to end things up, what are you most looking forward to this year? Could be an event, could be a new city you're going to.
Oh my gosh. Okay, this is wild. I am so excited about like the road trip between cities. So there is 4 cities that I'm going to call and I'm going to say, hey, I'm road tripping to you. Can I get a hotel room? Because I want to come see your space, right? So after, where are we going to be? I got to think of like the order of events. After Springfield, Missouri, I'm getting in a car. So I'm flying to Springfield and I'm going to rent a car while I'm there. And then it's going to be me, 2 of my guys that are on the team with me, and my 4-year-old son. Okay. And we are road tripping to Sioux City, Iowa. And I've got it mapped out. I've got 2 stops on the way, cities like that I want to get into, because if you've ever talked to me, you know that we pick our locations, yes, off relationships, but I try to triangulate, right? So like if I'm going to go here and here, let me add that one. So these cities that we're stopping at are part of our triangulation of growth. And hopefully they have really great people too. We'll find out, right? And then from Sioux City, we're going to have a great event with Ward and his team. They're awesome. Then we're going to fly home. Then we've got our Atlanta event, which is over here. And then I fly back. Where am I going next? I don't even know. I think it's between, I don't know. Memphis. I think I'm flying to Memphis one way.
I think it is Memphis. I think I stopped your schedule.
Yeah. Same deal. So after Atlanta, we fly to Memphis, rent a car, and the same squad car, we are going to road trip to Fort Wayne, Indiana, and we're stopping at some venues on the way. And I could not be more excited about that because it's time with my friends. I don't ever get to see my friend Christian and Caleb. They live out of state. My son is just awesome. Like, I don't know if you've never met my son, like, well, you haven't, but he's really cool. For 4, he's great. So I'm excited. We're just going to like road trip and see the country, meet cool people, and book some venues.
Gosh, that's incredible. We haven't even gotten to mention that you also mom of 2. So building your own empire and raising 2 kids. I know I'm a coach's kid. And so those are some memories that I will never forget. Yeah. And so I know your son and your daughter are so lucky to have you. But
thank you. That's
Carissa, I could talk to you for forever, but
likewise, I love talking to you, Kerri.
Yeah, no, you're the best. And thank you so much for being here. If anyone couldn't hear from this conversation, definitely connect with Carissa. Where's the best place outside of the Blazy platform? Where's the best place to connect with you?
I would say email carissa@riseelc.com.
Love it. All right. Thank you, Carissa. Until next time.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you. Bye-bye.